Hey, what's going on? It's Tripp from trippadvice.com, and I'm doing another interview here today, and it's with Mr. Shogo Garcia. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Tripp?
Fantastic. So, Shogo, we actually just did a podcast, which is pretty awesome. So, if you guys have been listening to the How to Talk to Girls podcast, check that out. We did a whole 45-minute bit talking about some really awesome stuff. So, check that out. And Shogo has a YouTube channel as well, and it's pretty amazing. It's got some great content on there, so go check it out. I'll put an annotation here on the screen as well as a link below. It's youtube.com/Shogo Garcia. And today we're talking about something that Shogo believes is one of the most important things in terms of meeting women. And we were talking about this a little bit before this call because we're talking about, okay, what are we going to talk about? And I was like, okay, this is perfect because I do believe it is one of the most important things on how to meet women, attract women. And Shogo, take it away, man. What do you think that number one thing is?
Oh, we were talking about this earlier, and I think in that the article that you just talked about is something that I think is really overlooked. It's like, especially if we're going out and watching videos on YouTube about how to meet women, how to talk to girls, how to go date, how to have a better relationship, we forget the most important thing. We don't even mention the most important thing. It kind of underlies everything, but it's easy to overlook or forget about, and that is that it's the whole thing is supposed to be fun. We're supposed to enjoy ourselves, and we get wrapped up in going around looking for the right advice, looking for the right tips, how to be the right guy, how to act the right way, how to say the right things, and putting ourselves in line, with on this path like we're taking a test. And we forget, we leave that one thing behind, the most important thing behind, which is like, it's supposed to be a celebration of life. You're supposed to be enjoying yourself. The whole reason for us doing this in the first place, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And plus, when you're not having fun doing it and you're not enjoying the process, you're just making it that much harder on yourself. And I mean, if you've been watching my YouTube channel for a long time, you'll know that pretty much all my videos are about, making things as simple as possible. I break things down to the most common denominator that could possibly exist in terms of getting results with women. And that's what fun is. It makes this process more simple for you. It's like, I don't know why I mean, it makes sense. People get hard on themselves, and when they get rejected or it doesn't work out with the girl, they can come down on themselves. But I mean, I don't know. What's your tip on that? When someone comes down on themselves really hard, like how does that person try to have fun when they're like, how am I supposed to have fun? I'm getting rejected all the time.
Well, it's part of it, right? We're I think it's what's driving us. It's our motivation, and what's driving us is this whole I need to do this better. And when you fail and you fuck up, right? Oh, sorry, when you mess up, uh, you get hard on yourself, but you're already hard on yourself to begin with. So kind of being down in the dumps, and then you're how do you say it here? Um, we set the standard, we set the bar for ourselves so high, right? And we never forgive ourselves for making mistakes. We don't forgive ourselves for not knowing the right answer.
Yeah.
And that's when it comes to meeting women, it comes to work, a lot of things. And I do this even on my, I was thinking when you were talking about this enjoyment process, I was thinking about when I put up videos on my channel. Man, I've been in slumps where I put up a video and I'm just like, God, it's editing, it's so much work, and it's not doesn't look right, and I have to redo it. And I get in this loop in my head, and I forget the whole reason why I started my YouTube channel is because I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's really important, I think, for us to come back to kind of press that reset button and come back to and just ask ourselves, hey, look, where do I find real enjoyment in this? What's the real, where's the real fun in the process? And sometimes we can find, that we are off on this track that we just don't even care about, whether we're lost in this how to manufacture a conversation rabbit hole, or how to be how to appear more confident but not appear confident but actually be confident, and we kind of get lost in all this stuff and forget that the whole thing is how we feel in here the whole time.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. And it's interesting because you make a really good point there. You got to kind of work a little bit to find the enjoyment within the process, right? So, if you're getting rejected by girls, one way I think can make that fun is treat life like an experiment, you know? So instead of being like, oh, I suck, I'm not a good person, I'm ugly, I'm stupid, I'm unattractive, think, well, okay, I got rejected. It's not really working out right now. You know, what else could I do? You know, get creative. I think creativity is one way to really enjoy the process. Okay, it's not working. What can I change? What can I do different? What can I try new next time? You know, what kind of new tips can I implement from the videos that I watch? You know, and one thing you were saying really resonated with me in terms of, you know, enjoying the process of making YouTube videos. I'll tell you a very, very quick story, is that a lot of people don't know, I actually had a YouTube channel before this one, and it was about dating advice. And I don't know if I removed it or what, but it was a pretty intense YouTube channel, meaning like it was a long process of 20 videos, each about 10 minutes, highly produced and edited, and I did casting and I directed it. It was like a little mini series about dating advice. And I noticed that, I mean, I still think to this day it's really good, but it didn't really get traction. Like, it didn't gain traction. It wasn't, people weren't really watching it that much. The subscriber number was extremely low and was barely ticking up. And so what did I do? I was like, all right, well, this isn't working, but I love making videos. I love giving dating advice. I love doing it through this medium of YouTube. What else can I do? Let me change it around. So I literally stopped that YouTube channel completely, and I started this new one, which is now youtube.com/trippadvice, the one that you're watching right now. And I started from scratch and just tried something new, and then this one took off, and it was fun the whole time. You know, I never got down on myself for messing up. I just said, okay, what can I do different next time? I kind of used creativity to make the process more enjoyable. So I think that's definitely a good way to keep things fun.
Yeah, you know what I love about what you said also uh, is that, well, one, you did it anyway, right? Because I know for a fact, and I'm like this too, and I know that for guys when it comes out to, you know, and you do kind of boot camp type stuff too, right? You go out on the streets and you do one-on-one
Yep.
work with guys, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So when we're doing that, um, we, you know, it's like we really want to make it work, and it's like we're holding this bunny like so tightly, and it's like we want to have it perfect. Like we want all interactions to be executed exactly the right way. We want to say exactly the right thing so the girl gives us the phone number, and then take her on that perfect magical first date. And while we're building up all of these things and all these steps and all this stuff in our head and how it's going to be done perfectly, like right, like you were saying, like the perfectly edited, highly produced videos, like the whole series, and you're going to have it that perfect package with a perfect bill on top of it. We build that up in our head, ideas like that, and we do this when it comes to going out and meeting girls, talking to women. You put all of those things in your mind and have all that laid out, and if it has to be that way and no other way, your chances of failing or your chances of it not looking that way are pretty high. That being in your mind, your chances of actually going out and executing it, even doing it, become lower and lower and lower. The more and more and more expectations we put on ourselves, like the higher and higher and higher of a, I don't want to say caliber, but the higher and higher and higher of a bar that we set for ourselves to executing something or to doing something.
Yeah.
So I think it's, you know, it's definitely important to maybe even the most important thing, right, is to just go ahead and do it. And they say, just take action, just go ahead and try it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, try something else. But the reason we stop and the reason we hesitate and the reason we don't do it in the first place is because that, you know, that fear of failure, because we've built up this idea in our head that it has to be done perfectly. If it doesn't work perfectly, then somehow we're like a failure at life, you know?
Right. And I think people have to understand and really tattoo on their brain is that anyone who's ever been really successful at anything, even the most successful people in the world at anything they do, have failed more times than people who are not that successful. So it's like you just got to remind yourself that it's part of the process. Like it's inevitable that mistakes are going to be made, you know. And I think that you got to throw the perfectionist thing out the window. You know, perfection is boring. It really is. It's not interesting. It's way more interesting to have something going on that has a little bit of, you know, a story to it. And making those mistakes, those are funny stories. You know, those are the things that really help build character inside of you, not for everything to go perfectly as planned, kind of like you were saying, you know, to throw that idea out the window.
Yeah, well, the process is what matters. When you were talking about, you know, the experts in the field, how many times they failed at things. It's the process is what matters most of all, right? Because our experiences, our memories, who we are, right? Our character, like you said, the character that we have, our character is built on the experiences, built on the process of going through the motion of doing, of going through every single day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, just women are attracted to that.
Right.
Women are attracted to that, to you, which is the culmination of all of the past events of your life that have made you today. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. And what's your disposition towards that, right? Every single experience you've had, every single memory you have, right? The way that you've shown up in the world, the things that you've done, how you treat people, the energy that you exude. What's your disposition towards your own, I guess, towards your own presence, towards your own being? Are you trying to fit yourself into this perfect square, this perfect hole, put that, put that perfect ribbon on there, make yourself this perfect human being? Or are you coming from a place of beauty, of enjoyment, right? Of enjoying the process? Whether it fails or succeeds, it doesn't really matter, because it's not the outcome that matters, it's the process that matters. So how are you holding it? How are you holding the process of your own life, right? And when you become to this place, when you come from a place of enjoyment, right, you come from a place of beauty, we ourselves become beautiful, right? We ourselves become more enjoyable to be around. So I think it's I don't want to say it's important, but I think that's like the key right there.
Mm-hmm.
Is to remember, just to ask ourselves, how do I want to do that? How do I want to do this in a way that I enjoy? So if you're standing in line at a coffee shop, right, and there's a cute girl standing next to you, and you're standing there like, oh my God, what am I going to say? Am I going to say anything? Oh my God, I don't know. You're getting nervous, and you kind of think back. Use all the tips, use whatever tips you can find. If you have some opening lines, fine, whatever you want to do to talk to the girl. But remember, where are you coming from when you say it? Right? Are you coming from a place of like, God, it has to work. God, I have to do it perfectly. God, she has to respond. Or, hey, what do I want to say right now to really have a good time right now with this girl that I'm talking to?
Yeah. It's funny because, I think you and I kind of preach similar ideologies, and we talk a lot about not becoming or not being outcome dependent, right? Focusing more on the process. I think that's actually a big part of what we were talking about on the podcast. And I'm going to take it back, because I think you should focus on the outcome, but I'm going to twist it a little bit. The outcome should be fun. Like that, you should be outcome dependent. You should, because you got to focus on, am I having fun? And if you're having fun and if you're enjoying the process, it's kind of like Field of Dreams, right? That famous quote from Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you work on it, if you trust the process, if you have fun doing it, it will happen for you, So it's about keeping your eye on a different prize this time around, not getting the phone number, not getting laid, not, getting into a relationship as soon as possible, but really enjoying every little moment. And this is this is just life advice right there. That should be with everything. And as much as I say this to, the watcher right now, I'm kind of reminding myself of it, because, I'm human, you're human, Shogo. We get caught up in this stuff all the time in our own lives and what we're doing. It's like, you got to keep on reminding yourself. It's not like you say it once and, oh, magic, it's you're cured, you're only focused on fun and everything's great. No, you gotta kick yourself in the ass constantly, every single day. Write it on a Post-it note, put it on your phone. Watch a video like this every day to just remind yourself over and over and over, what it's all about. What do you think?
Yeah, the outcome is certainly important. Your result, your destination, I guess, if you want to call it that, is certainly important. The analogy that I like to use is like you're getting on a train or you're taking a trip somewhere, and you have multiple stops along the way. You want to get to China, you want to India, or wherever. Now, it matters where you go, naturally, very, very much. But that's this on one hand, your destination, what you want it to look like once you get there. But on the other hand, we've got this, you're still taking a train there. Get yourself a good seat. Look out the window a little bit. Listen to some good music, enjoy the journey along the way.
Right. That's a great analogy. It's a good analogy. Why are you going to put yourself through torture, on that journey? It's like, why not have why would you have every second of your life be torture for yourself? Make it all interesting, make it all enjoyable. I like that a lot. What other tips do you have on this kind of topic that we're talking about in terms of helping guys have more fun in this process? Is there anything else that comes to mind?
Yeah, there is, and it's that it's a holistic the whole thing. It's a big picture thing. I know that you and I are both in the world of dating advice, life advice, whatever you want to call it. and I like to talk about kind of random things here and there, but we can't isolate out this one area. Like if we're having I talk a lot about also just regular conversation skills, right? A lot of my advice is for women as well. Um, but even when it comes to conversation skills, when it comes to social anxiety, we can't just take this one thing over here in the corner and work on that one thing and figure out all the stuff around social anxiety, because it's the entire spectrum, right? It's what we're doing every day. It's the people that we're interacting with. It's how we see ourselves as a person. It's how we wake up every morning. It's what we expect for ourselves in life. It's how we want to treat other people. It's all of these things, because, like what you said earlier, every little experience that you experience along the way of your life has brought you to the character of who you are right now, right? So, if we want to talk about talking to girls, right, talking to women, well, all of the experiences that you're bringing with yourself, your entire understanding of yourself as a person, how you've been treating people your entire life, how you've been treated by other people your entire life. We're bringing that story with us into this moment right now, into the conversation that you and I are having right now. Right now, whether it's you and me talking, or or you're talking to a girl, I'm talking to her, whatever. So always remember that you can't just sit back for Monday through Friday and hate and think your life sucks, and then Saturday from 8 p.m. to midnight you go out and you try to go have fun in the bar. It doesn't work that way.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a great way of looking at it too. Just like people trudging through their week to get to the weekend, and it's funny too, because you can think about that. What if you're trudging through the week, waiting for the weekend, just kind of you've subconsciously convinced yourself that the only good part of the week is Saturday and Sunday. And then all of a sudden you get to Saturday and Sunday, and for whatever reason, they're just not great days, You don't have as much fun, or maybe you get sick, or maybe you get too drunk or something. Just life happens, things go wrong, and all of a sudden, great. You looked forward to this whole thing that just, totally crumble. And it's the same thing with like dating, It's like you see that perfect girl. I know a lot of guys who watch this channel are getting advice because they got that one girl that they're just kind of working on. And they're working so hard on it, and they're so stressed out that they got to get this one girl, and all of a sudden they finally go to approach the girl, or finally go talk to her, use that one line or one move, and they find out maybe a couple things. A, she sucks. She actually is not as cool as they thought that they were going to be, and that disappoints them. Or maybe she is amazing, but for whatever reason she's got a boyfriend, or she rejects you and it doesn't work out. It's like you potentially set yourself up not for failure, but for just more stress and more unenjoyment, because you're thinking about that one thing, So I guess it all ties into what we're saying here, is about enjoying the steps and the journey, and not so much what's at the end of the path.
Absolutely, because what you said reminded me of this, is that we are not psychics of the world here. We can't. Nothing is as it seems, as we think it's going to be, right? Well, whatever's unfolding now, right now, we would never have predicted this. We can't know this. We think that certain things are a certain way. We think that girl that works at that coffee shop every Friday that we go to and have a quick little nervous chit chat with, and then come back the next Friday to talk to her again and never really ask her out. We think that she's a certain way, right? Or we think that things would end up a certain way if we could only control it the way that we really want to. But the thing is, once we get there, it's the nature of life. It's always unpredictable, because once we get there, all of that planning flies out the window.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which in a way is a beauty of life, because if there are things we don't like about where we're at, or if there are things we don't like about how we're showing up in life, well, the beauty is that tomorrow's another day, and or next year's another year, and things come in and out of your life that can never have predicted.
Yeah, exactly. That's great, man. And I think I want to end right there, because I think that's just a solid point, Just let things happen the way they do. Do the best you can. Work hard. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the moment. And I think that alone can help you soar in terms of your success with dating women. So, Shogo, man, love talking to you always. You have such insightful, meaningful advice to share. If you guys like what he has to say here, you should check out his guest blog post that he wrote for the Tripp Advice blog. I'm going to put a link right here, an annotation on the screen, as well as below. So check that out. He's got more to say in terms of how to make things interesting and fun in terms of being able to attract more women. And of course, check out his stuff. Again, check out the annotation on his YouTube channel. youtube.com/Shogo Garcia. Thanks, man, for being here. Thanks for doing this, and hopefully we'll do it again soon.
Yeah, Tripp, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.